Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
If you love the deep strategic thinking behind the game, you are absolutely in the right place.
We're about to unpack a team selection that is so much more than just a list of names. It's a tactical manifesto from Rassie Erasmus.
It really is.
And before we get into the nuts and bolts, if you're new here and you want this kind of analysis all the time, just do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession right now.
So today we're dissecting the Springboks team for their match against Wales on November 29, 2025. And this was not a standard announcement.
Not at all.
This felt like a deployment of force. The media reaction was, well, it wasn't subtle. They called it an intent to crush Wales with a gargantuan team.
A gargantuan team. And we are here to explore the architecture of that team. Our mission is to really get into the why behind this selection. Specifically, the radical return of the 7-1 bomb squad split. We'll look at the 8 personnel changes from that great Ireland victory, and most importantly, connect it all to the big picture.
Which is building that unrivaled depth for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. It's a deep dive into calculated risk and just overwhelming intent.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the thing everyone is talking about, that radical tactic. And we have to set the scene because context here is everything.
It really is.
This match against Wales, it falls outside World Rugby's official international window.
Right, which means the Bokas lost key players due to their club commitments. It forced changes.
It forced changes, yes, but this is Rassie Erasmus we're talking about. He's a master of turning a problem into a strategic advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And while those availability issues definitely played a part, he didn't just go for a standard 5-3 or 6-2 split on the bench. No.
He went all in.
All in. He opted for that extraordinary 7-1 forward-to-back split for the first time since last year. He's unleashing the ultimate version of the bomb squad.
It's more than just a bench, isn't it? It's a whole philosophy. It's a commitment to the idea that forward dominance has to be absolute. But even for a team famous for its forwards, having only one backline player on the bench, that feels like walking a strategic tightrope.
It absolutely is a tightrope walk.
Yeah.
And to understand it, you have to look at Erasmus's dual motivation. He admits the player shortage is a factor, but he also stresses that this decision is driven by confidence.
Confidence in his pack.
Total confidence. He said the pack will be a key area of the match. This is deliberate. It's high stakes. He's saying, we trust our starting backline to go 80 minutes. And if we start to lose control up front, we have 7 test-hardened forwards ready to instantly fix it.
Let's talk about that risk, though. Because if you've only got one backline replacement, Copus Reinach, you're basically operating with zero cover for your fly half, center, wing, fullback. What does that tell us about the confidence they have in those starters?
Well, it tells us 2 things. First, they believe that guys like Sacha Feinberg-Magomezulu at 10 and the Esterhuizen a combo in the midfield are durable enough to take a beating. And second, it highlights the tactical utility of the players they do have.
Yeah.
Yes, Reinach is the only back, but Quagga Smith is on that forward bench.
Ah, so Quagga Smith is the unspoken insurance policy.
Exactly. He's a phenomenal loose forward. But if, say, Keenan Moody goes down on the wing, Quagga can technically shift out wide. It's not ideal. You know, it's a desperate measure, but it's an option.
But the real crisis point is fly half.
That's the one. If Sacha goes down, you're looking at Dale Lund or Reinach stepping in, and that fundamentally changes your entire attacking structure.
It changes the whole game plan instantly. But let's look at the power coming off that bench. The 7 forwards are Bongi Mbonambi, Zachary Porthen, Asanathi Nitsgloblakhanya, Eben Etzebeth, Marco van Staden, Ben Jason Dixon, and Quagga.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's not just depth. It's relentless, world-class pressure just waiting to be unleashed, especially in the last 30 minutes.
Designed to win the game late.
And look at the mix. You've got established guys like Mbonambi and Etzebeth, but then you've got the 2 newer props, Porthen and Ntlabakanye. They're getting critical test exposure. Erasmus isn't just looking at this match. He's stress testing his backup systems for 2027.
Which brings us to the starting XV. Because even with 8 forced changes from the side that beat Ireland, the physical identity it's still there. This is a big, powerful side.
That power profile is non-negotiable for Erasmus. We see a lot of turnover in the engine room, with only Ruan Norji keeping his place in the front 5. And this is where the rotation actually delivers something interesting.
You're talking about that provincial cohesion.
Exactly. You've got an all-Bulls starting front row. Wilco Liu, Johan Grobbelaar, and Gerhard Steenkamp.
And what's the advantage there?
It's muscle memory. It's trust. Scrummaging is an art, and these three guys packed down together week in, week out. That instant cohesion just minimizes the risk you get with rotation, especially against a Welsh side that's going to try and disrupt your set piece. It's smart.
That makes perfect sense. Use domestic partnerships for stability. Okay, moving back. We see stability in the loose trio with Jasper Wise and Captain Sia Kolisi. Franco Mostert completes the trio.
And Mostert's inclusion is a really insightful piece of team culture.
How so?
Well, Erasmus recently praised him publicly. He noted Mostert had a terrible year, but just kept turning up, serving the team wherever they needed him.
Wow.
Keeping him in the team, despite admitting his form dipped, that sends a huge signal to the squad. Your commitment to the team matters more than anything. It reinforces that team-first culture.
A huge sign of trust. Now, the backline. These changes were forced by the club commitments, right? No Cheslin Colby.
Right, Colby's absence forces a shuffle. Kanan Moody shifts to the left wing, which opens the door for Ethan Hooker on the right. And then in the midfield, Dayande moves to 13, partnered by Andre Esterhuizen at 12.
And Erasmus called Esterhuizen a hybrid player. What does that actually mean tactically, especially with that 7-1 bench?
That description is the key to making the 7-1 split work. A hybrid player here is someone who offers power, strong defense, a good kicking game, and positional flexibility.
Right.
Esterhuizen gives them a second kicking option, and his size means he's almost a third loose forward in that midfield channel. If disaster strikes, say the fullback gets injured, Esterhuizen has the skill set to shift around, allowing Dayande to cover, offering a layer of resilience that the bench just doesn't have.
So he's not just a battering ram, he's an intelligent safety net, which is critical when you've only got one back on the pine.
Precisely. And that brings us perfectly to the wider long-term goal here.
The road to 2027.
Exactly. This entire selection is a carefully executed part of Rassie's grand plan for the next World Cup.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. Erasmus didn't just talk about depth, he quantified it. He gave a specific, staggering number.
He did.
He said the team has used a total of 49 players in test matches this season.
49. That number defines their entire approach. It's monumental. A typical team, a year out from a World Cup, they're settling on maybe 30, 35 players.
But the Boosters are deliberately throwing their entire depth chart into the fire.
It's about having 2, maybe 3 fully test-capable players in almost every position by 2027.
So is that a weakness? Does that much rotation hurt cohesion?
Well, historically it can. But what Erasmus is doing is controlled rotation. He said himself that many combinations are fully settled because the main group has been together for 5 weeks.
So the rotation is targeted.
It's targeted at guys like Porthen and Lebakanye who need that exposure. The goal is that in a World Cup quarterfinal in 2027, if your top player is injured, the replacement stepping in already has test caps under intense pressure.
It's an incredibly aggressive way to manage a 4-year cycle.
It creates a level of internal competition that just raises the standard for everyone.
So with 49 players used, what starting combination stands out to you as the most critical one to get right for RWC 2027?
For me, I think it's that 9-10-15 axis, especially at fly half. They need to find the primary successor to the veterans and Sachvenberg Munga Mazulu being kept in there.
Yeah.
That suggests he's winning that race right now.
Every minute he gets is invaluable data. And as you think about that, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you never miss a deep dive into these high-stakes decisions. Okay, let's pivot. What about Wales? The view from outside is that they're a severely weakened host facing an imposing task.
And that might be true on paper, but the Books' camp is maintaining that classic respectful caution. Erasmus knows that in the last test of the year, history means nothing. He called Wales a balanced squad with seasoned pros and desperate young guys playing for their futures.
And desperation is a powerful motivator. He said he expects them to come out firing and throw everything at us.
And that motivation is tied to the global stakes.
Right.
This isn't just a friendly.
Right.
Both teams need to finish the year on a high, but it's really about their world ranking.
Yeah.
Because the RWC draw is next week.
So every single ranking point matters right now for seeding.
It's vital. A better ranking could be the difference between a manageable pool and a group of death. So this game, this seemingly minor tour game, suddenly has huge significance.
So to wrap this all up, what's the Springboks' strategic position right now? We have this massive physical intent with the 7-1 split.
A high-risk, high-reward approach.
Combined with this public commitment to building unparalleled depth with those 49 players.
It's confirmation of their philosophy. Forward dominance is the primary weapon. The selection basically says, we might have holes due to player availability, but we're going to fix those holes by doubling down on our greatest strength.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. The 7-1 split was partly forced on them by circumstance. Does this accident being forced to road test their most radical idea actually create the perfect high-pressure dress rehearsal for a future knockout match where forward dominance is everything?
It's the silver lining of a logistical headache, isn't it? If this 7-1 gamble pays off against Wales, it validates the strategy as a real option for, say, a World Cup semifinal. The analysis of this one match will inform their thinking all the way to 2027.
We want to know what you think. Share your thoughts on the 7-1 split. Is the risk of having one back worth the reward of all that physical power?
Yeah, let us know. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth look at the Springboks philosophy.
And make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession wherever you listen so you never miss another deep dive. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we will look forward to you listening to our next episode.